Hello to everyone tuning in. I'm gonna try something a little different today. Um, okay. Sorry. The way that I usually set up this window has changed. And it's taken me by surprise, this change. But anyway, I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm not coming in with anything specific right now. I'm just gonna shuffle and see what the cards have to say. I feel like I have done more than enough offerings in terms of what I think is happening energetically. And I also think that we've long crossed the line of any external voice trying to tell you what's going on with your life during this time. I think there's nothing is more important than listening to that inner voice, trying to repair your relationship with it. I'm actually tuning into Miriam Hasnaya's 2026 energy reading, and she mentions that what I just mentioned now, the relationship with the inner voice, following that in intuition and guidance, high pastel dreams. Following that is what's most very important right now. And I will link that. You have to sign up in order to get access to the video. I think it's worth it every time. Miriam Hasnaya is a very in tune channeler and teacher. And I'm sure we're all aware of her by now, but just in case you aren't, you should check especially her energy readings out. If you don't feel adequately connected to your intuition and what your inner voice has to say, to the frequency of resonance, if you, with almost full confidence, can say that you don't actually know the sound of your inner voice or the sense of it, I suggest you get started on that relationship immediately. Like, don't even finish this video. Get off that phone, that laptop, and work on your relationship with yourself, your inner guidance, your intuition. There's nothing more important than that right now. And sorry, that will be the case for a very long time. Things may collapse. Chaos will continue to happen. The cycle goes round and round and it will never stop. And what is going to truly stand the test of time is your relationship with yourself. And it is the main sense of what we are all feeling right now. And I think is the main sense of why the figures of evil, the fear machines, everything about what our current reality is dismantling right now. Those powers that be are fully aware of that and are trying their best, as I mentioned in the last reading, to grab at the attentions that are not grounded, grab at the energies that are just free floating, without that spiritual hygiene, without the daily grounding practices, breath work, a remembrance of the spiritual realm that you work with and draw and pull energy from. Very, very, very important, which is also why the senses of endings, I didn't think I was going to do this. I thought I was just going to go straight into shuffling, but these are all coming out before me. But just to finish my train of thought, this is why the senses of endings is so prevalent right now, because of how important it is to stay connected to that sense of inner truth and how almost desperate everything seems to be to grab at that truth, manipulate other people's truths, etc., etc. Okay, I think I'm ready to shuffle now. Nothing more important than energy. Your awareness is the frequency right now. Okay. Okay, interesting. So we have the Empress as the card that... All right, we have the Empress. This card didn't really fall out by itself, but it was hanging by the deck and it was right in front of my face. So I'm going to take that as the leading... It feels like the leading energy that we are striving towards. That, or it's the underlying frequency of everything, and it's the sense of what I was talking about in the previous reading, where we just have to We just have to intend on this energy, nurture, love, the feminine. We just have to face it and it will meet us halfway. That is to say, seek heart chakra opening exercises when you meditate. Focus on your heart area. I mentioned this a few readings ago, well, maybe a few months ago now, actually, that what helps or where in your body your truth is stored is apparently by the back of your heart. So focus on that. That could help. Although obviously it's true to whatever your experience is. We also have the Two of Discs beneath the other group of cards that fall out. I'm pulling it out because it was, what is it? It called to me in relation to this Empress card. This card speaks of a frequency of indecision, but even if you don't know what the other side of whatever decision you make is, love is the ruler. Hopefully you have a sense of connection with that. You have a sense of where in your life you can access little pockets of love and glimmer, things that can uplift you and keep you focused on the frequency of love. If you are a parent, that is a very obvious well of love that you can pull from, which is, by the way, the absolute magic in being a parent. I know not a lot of people are tapped into that responsibility right now. Many people, I think, than ever have before, fear it and do not want to turn to it, actively do not want to become parents. And I get it, full respect to you, and you should follow that. However, if you find yourself on the fence, I think it's worth considering the fact that there is always a well of love in the experience of parenthood. Should you choose it, it's very easy to alchemize, and it's just there and it's free. You know, children are so loving naturally. It's a huge blessing to be able to bear witness to the innocence and the purity of a child's energy. It always brings this out for me personally. I think anyone with an open heart can say the same. There's also, in the other cards that fell out, the Queen of Discs, the Six of Swords, the Three of Discs, and then we have the Page of Rods that fell out mostly on top of this. It fell out mixed in between, but I'm not taking any order in particular with these cards that have fallen. The Page of Rods in reverse I'm interested to dive into, as I remember receiving the Page of Rods upright in a reading I've recently done, and I tapped into the fact that this is where most of us are collectively with this card upright. We're doing underworld work. And to my understanding of the story of the Page of Rods, and what I've come across informationally this year regarding its relationship to Persephone, is that her time in the underworld, the Page of Rods' time in the underworld, and ours collectively, where we find ourselves exiting now with this eclipse tunnel, it is assigned. So it's not something that we can just end at any point and decide, oh, okay, well, I'm done with the shadow and the darkness. I'd like to leave. It's not up to you. It's up to, I'd say, whatever the frequency or forces are that pulled you there. Maybe the shame that you need to face, that you've yet to face, the guilt, the victimhood, which is what I've been bringing up a lot. With this card in reverse, we have the interpretation of someone adrift in life, confused and angry, anger turning inwards to become self-destructive, drugs or other addictions, fascinations with death or the depths of the psyche. So this is actually something that I was contemplating. Hey, Pearl. This is something I was contemplating mentioning on this live regarding my personal experience and how I have backslid into my typical addictive, codependent behaviors and thoughts and projections. And I've backslid so badly that it's, we have the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck, by the way. This is where I've backslid to. And then we have the Queen of Rods as a follow-up, which is interesting because this is how I feel in this backsliding that I've done. I wanted to mention with regards to what this card brings up regarding addictions and specifically that frequency of the inner child within you that seeks nurture and that seeks a safe container to be free, creative, expressive, the safe container that your feminine energy expected as a child. That is what's being triggered, I think, in each of us. So that we're in this we're in the season of craving nurture and may find ourselves compelled to do things that are from an addictive, motherless place, but are driven by love or lack thereof or desire of, you know. Very random one, but this also came up in, I don't know which reading it is, but please look after your health, especially this week with the transition of, I believe, and I've mentioned this, I believe that with all sensitive, energetic times, we should go out of our way every time to look after our health. We also have the one of discs further along the line here. We need to look after our bodies, and we need to do it with the awareness that we are about to enter an energetic storm. We can feel it coming at this point. I'm so sure I read for people who are intuitive enough to be able to tell when change is upon them and the seasons are going to flip. When you feel that sense, it's very important to respect the rituals that follow in order to tend to those changes. We can't take what we know lightly anymore. It's very, very serious. We have not been in the underworld for nothing. I also wanted to say as well, with regards to the addictions and codependencies and things, to forgive yourself. Very important that with this work that is happening, you have to know, you have to come to accepting that you are not perfect, and that in itself is perfect. You don't want to be perfect. We each have had these really insane ideals that have left us nurtureless, motherless. We've been aiming for kinds of perfections. This queen is famous for knowing how to show face, and that whole thing of not looking your problems, which is great, shout out, but it's unnecessary. You don't have to do that, Yes, it's great, shout out, like I've said, but you don't have to be the person to always hold face all the time. You don't have to be the one. Virgo as well. We're in Virgo season, it's a Virgo new moon. We don't have to be the ones to always fix problems. We don't always have to be the ones to make sure that issues are fixed. And I think that if you are someone who enjoys showing face and you find that you find it difficult specifically to fall apart and be vulnerable, you find it difficult to leave things broken, firstborn daughter syndrome, possibly a little bit of a savior complex, all of that has to be shed now, or at least looked at. Consider maybe you might be facing a state of burnout, and it may be because of this, or you're going through a period of depression. And again, it's because of this need, subconscious need you've always kept to keep everything perfect. And I mean, pedantically, everybody obviously wants things to go right, but there's something about the way that we've wanted things to go right and the way that we've insisted things need to be perfect that has been making us unwell and depressing us. Like, we don't need to be here. We don't need to do this. Our contract with suffering is over. It's done. And we need to start paying more attention to all the ways in which we suffer and how we can ease all of those things up, how we can be more control. This queen at her best. I mean, luckily it hasn't fallen out in reverse. So what I've been mentioning before is technically her worst traits, and desiring to show face against or above her feelings of maybe exhaustion, being overwhelmed with responsibility, in particular, needing to keep everything together. This card also speaks of a travel from those kinds of worries. So if you are someone who tends to do that and keep things in order, you're responsible for, you may be like a over nurturer where people are always calling you specifically to release their issues. And yeah, people call you and they're lonely, and yet you yourself are experiencing senses of loneliness, that kind of thing. Who heals the healer? Well, anyway, you're going to get some kind of relief from that, thankfully. I'm going to take in the spread some more, see if anything else comes up. Further down the spread, at the bottom of the deck, you have the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Cups, which is really nice. And the World. Ooh, big major arcana. Ooh, lovely. Oh my gosh, so you have the World, Death, and the Magician in succession, which is absolutely incredible to me. I think that all of these cards together, excuse me, is a really, really lovely spread. Especially with the Three of Swords in and amongst all of that, I think that whatever, there's very clear abundance in living experience that's arising. Whatever you experience of that will feel like a compensation for this, for whatever sadness or lowness, extreme exhaustion, lack of nurture, whatever that is that you might be feeling in your life right now is going to be compensated really nicely the week following, whenever it is that you watch this. And yeah, it's coming up again very urgently for you to please look after your health. Keep your immune system up, add lemon to your water, make sure you are moving your body. Move your body, stretch, daily stretches. Very, very important, very underrated tool for healing and moving the energies during this time. Things are not going to get less intense. I've mentioned this previously as well, and definitely not to fear monger. There's more to say. We need to take our shit seriously. Things are not going to get less intense. We have to rise to the occasion, and we will naturally, just by intending on it, actually. We have to rise to the occasion of the energetic shifts that are happening right now. We have to help our body out, help our soul out, do the hygiene. But very specifically, look after your immune system. Very specifically. And beware of this. Like I've said, forgive yourself through any codependent behaviors that are very likely from a place of a lack of nurture. Beware of this within yourself and within others, and forgive. Try to hold as much compassion as you can. I think in order to just in order to be sure of your choices, because it feels like there may come moments where you do things very impulsively, not knowing from where you're doing it. And this is very Virgo coded. The point is to reprogram and restructure that, knowing, fine, you won't always know exactly why you do things, but at least let it be from a place of love. Just tap into the way you feel when you make decisions, and make sure you're not closing up or contracting or feeling fearful or anxious or nervous. And even if you do feel nervous, because you can feel a multitude of things, make sure that what's at the root is love. And then whatever codependent behaviors and addictions and, I don't know, I'm getting possible like suicidal ideation vibes here, but not so much like actually carrying it out as much as you may feel just senses of extreme exhaustion that says, you know, just being alive is exhausting. Those kind of thoughts. That is like suicide ideation lights, just by the way. Any push against a will to live, any sense of looking at this place and thinking, oh, I want to go away, I want to turn away. That is and if that is a suppression of your will that needs to be addressed, but that will be addressed in time. That you can trust is is as a result of just temporary emotions and feelings. There's a sense of like immaturity that we're at, but that we're placed out on purpose so that we can clear out every every bit of a misalignment that may be in our bodies so we can be fully aligned to the blessings that come. Look out for any romantic interests, romantic offerings. Be open to that. Um, yeah, be open to the romantic offerings. Um, I'm getting the sense of somebody who wants to treat somebody who wants to give someone a good experience, somebody who wants to make someone happy. Oh, and with all of these together as well, including the Empress, a sense of somebody approaching somebody with the intention to offer safety and a joyful, to safety and joy, emotional nurture and joy. Yes, whoever this person is, it may be you offering that to someone or someone coming to you with that. And I think that has to do with the union energy that I was tapping into about 2 readings ago. We have Libra season coming. I feel so excited for Libra season because it feels like it's going to be very Libra-y, which is just a thrill. Like each season this year has been feeling very much, it's been living up to its archetype. Gemini season was Gemini season. Cancer season was Cancer season. Libra season is going to be Libra season. You know? It's going to be Libra season. Yeah, yeah. I'm getting the sense of like, yeah, of a lot of a lot of new connections, romantic or platonic, starting very quickly because of a kind of rise of feminine energy in masculine archetypes. So a lot more offerings, a lot more like, a lot less of this funny shit we're seeing online about men and how they want to be the woman now. A lot, not that. No, definitely not that. Yeah, no, it really is. Exactly, Pearl. It is coming a lot sooner than expected. And it's funny because that's also something that I've seen or was inspired to respond with by a prompt someone else made on Twitter saying they don't believe, they're also looking at the Jola scene and they're like, it's looking kind of crazy, you know? And everybody's agreeing, everybody's saying no, single until middle 2026 at least. And I'm cackling at everyone because, yeah, we're gonna be so surprised. It's actually hilarious how many union energies are gonna creep behind us, and we're gonna all jump and be like, "What? Is this real?" All of our traumas are gonna jump out. All of our traumas are gonna jump out. But luckily, we'll be paired with our divine others, you know, who are going to understand us for everything that we have been working spiritually, for all of our shadows and darknesses. They won't be afraid to take us all in, love every bit of us, and it'll feel natural to them and it'll feel natural to us. And the only thing that will be doubting is when we insist on exercising the mind before the heart. I love seeing this card in a reading, by the way. And these two together are just, you know, I can't help it as well. Like, I really can't help but feel into the romance that's coming, the unions. We're all feeling it, by the way. We're all feeling it. It's very, very exciting. It's going to be a very exciting season. Very Venetian is what I'm feeling onto. And thank God, too, because Virgo season is not fun. The pragmaticism required for you to get organized, get real, get intentional. It's just, Yeah, but shout out to Earth signs because I know you guys have been having a really good time and you're going to continue to have a good time until the end of the year, apparently. Earth signs and Saturnians, Capricorns in particular, you guys are, for some odd reason, the main characters right now. I find that very interesting across astrological systems, by the way, which is also very interesting. Capricorns, regardless of whatever, are really winning right now, and I love that for them. But y'all are also really tired. The Earth signs, the Virgos, more particularly since this eclipse has been happening in your area. This is also generally very Virgo coded. Yeah. The one, oh, wow. I'm only noticing now you have the 1, 2, and 3 of discs. So you're very earthly week. That's interesting. Very material issues, very what's in front of you, what you're experiencing right now in the moment, I think would do you good. Daily groundings, daily grounding exercises in order to stay present. Meditations online that encourage presence. I've never tried them myself, but it feels like something that would be helpful. Daily gratitude lists. And this is all to reprogram your mind to be able to be grateful in the moment. Gratitude in general is very, very important this season. Now I've lost the card. Oh, here it is. Yeah, gratitude. Very, very important. Anything to bring you into the moment because it feels like there are lots of details, synchronicities, and actual daily in front of your face experiences that are going to be very important in telling you, in giving you clues. Clues. Clues, yes. It feels like there'll be lots of clues this week. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Oh, I was getting ready for it. Potentially the last one. Yeah, and that's so true. Exactly. We deserve happiness too. 100%. The cards agree. We definitely deserve happiness, nurture, safety. Feeling safe in the body, feeling safe in our lives. Feeling like our life is taking care of us, you know? Really being able to have faith and trust in that fact that everything is working for our greatest good. This card has been, I love how often this card has been showing up in readings on personals that I do via Tarot and Chill and collectively. It's really wonderful how often this has come up and how obvious it is. This is also in the last reading I did, I think, maybe a reading ago, but whatever. Point is, this is a big theme right now, and I love that for us. I love that for us so much. Yeah. I'm just trying to take everything in so I can make sure I mention every single bit, like I really ring this reading of what can be said. Please remember to forgive yourself. There's still a little bit of pain left. Still a little bit of crying. Emotional expression. But we're also learning how to control ourselves. I think while this may be an offering, this is also, it feels a mastering of our emotional world on some level. It feels like it's been tough right now. The toughness, the exhaustion. We're upgrading. We're leveling up. Whatever's left of this egg has its shit to do, though. I think that's part of the whole, the addictive habits, the fascination with death, the shadow work, the diving into the psyche. I think with the page falling out there, it feels like there's some level of fun that can be had with this. It feels like we're in a really creative space of creative space, potential. If you're someone who's an artist, you create, you write songs or whatever, it feels like now would be a good time to do something about the energy of rebirth or whatever it is. You know, when artists lock themselves in a room, take a bunch of shrooms and then start writing, creating. This might be a good time for that. A good week for something like that, something crazy like that. Big alchemy coming in, which is wonderful. Really, really great. Something good coming out of a really shitty situation. Something good coming out of it. We worked. Yeah, we worked. We are in the clear of this eclipse tunnel. Thank God this week is going to clear. It's going to really just fan it all out now. We did what we needed to do. Congratulations. That was hard. That was so difficult. Yo, was actually one of the hardest eclipses. Like I know eclipses, we all know eclipses are hard, but this was crazy. It was crazy. This three of discs with the Magician is also really great news for me personally, considering how season really affected my willpower, my sense of empowerment, victimhood, shame, all of that shit I mention over and over again. So this, I think, to me, these cards together is very empowering, very much a willingness to accept everything for what has been and look forward to the future. A willingness to practice your divine gifts, your divine power. A sense of empowerment that you really worked for. Worked very hard for it. This is a random one. Please be on the lookout for working with other people. Yeah. That's all I've got. Be open to working with other people. Maybe feels like new connections could arise. Maybe the connections themselves are unclear. The purpose of it is unclear. However, it's very much you two could work together to create something powerful kind of thing. You'll find you two are the missing, like, you know how in human design you're apparently supposed to connect with people who have their gaps filled in places yours are empty. You know, that kind of thing. A mutualistic relationship might be coming between you and another powerful person, bearing in mind that you have to also recognize that you're powerful. Like none of this can, you have to recognize that you're powerful. None of this can come without you at least acknowledging your power, which is something that can also come this week, but obviously through the sense of nurture and feeling safe. It's going to be a bit of a vulnerable week too, emotionally vulnerable. Thank you for the validation, bro. Like I said, there's still some shit to work through, man. We're still here. Still unpacking the stuff, feeling anxious, separated, possibly irritable. Like I mentioned earlier, exhausted. Yeah. Hopefully our sleep corrects itself, sorry. It will eventually. The sleep will correct itself. Please be sure to drink water. That's a very, very important one, and something that I'm sure is obvious enough with all the cups. Try to make your water fun. Add some things to it. I've started adding apple cider vinegar to mine, and it's surprisingly delicious. Lots of benefits could come from nurturing your relationship with water, getting a bowl of water and placing it by your window or your bed to stabilize your dreams and to even stabilize your mood during the day. You could keep the glass of water there. Fire as well, but that doesn't feel as major as water. If you have a pool, take a swim. When you take a shower, use it as a cleanse. Pray on the water that's falling on you to cleanse you. Add that extra bit just to get your way safely out of the underworld. There are some things that we need to leave behind. I think you can make a ritual out of it. Some things that we need to leave behind that we're at risk of taking with because of how used to suffering we are, how used to the low vibrational frequency. I think we've been here for a while. We've been in the underworld for a really long time. It feels like the whole year, technically. Like we haven't had a room to breathe, to be joyful, happy, to feel joy for real through and through. We have to do everything we can to prepare for the oncoming of abundant feelings, emotions, all that good shit. It's coming for sure. I keep saying this in readings. It's definitely coming. The preparation is, it's like preparing an actual wedding, right? Takes a lot. but it's all coming. And I think in general, we're doing the work. Like I said, we're always doing the work. Expect a little bit more crying, a little bit more low feelings. Be gentle with yourself through each day it comes. I've started doing daily check-ins and not trying to change what I check into in the day. Normally I would, well, before this season, especially of shadow work and learning how to accept myself, I would wake up, feel like trash, and then do everything I can to almost urgently get rid of the feeling, the trash feeling. These days I've been sitting in it and trying to take care of it, sit with it and say, okay, do you know where the root is from? Did you have a bad dream? All right, let's sit in it. Let's process. What do you feel like doing from this place? In all honesty, in all true honesty, what do you feel like doing with it? Where do you want to go? What do you feel like eating today now that you're in a bad mood, you know? Although it's interesting to then also receive this card in contrast, which speaks, as I've repeated, especially the last few readings, because it keeps coming up, this card. It speaks of needing to pretend to be happy and how it isn't always a bad thing. Yeah, I've already spoken as well on how I don't really like that frequency. I get how important it is for manifestation, but I'm not good at doing it. And I don't really, especially when I'm in this state, do not believe in making it a thing. I support just being honest with the way that you feel and your emotions, instead tending to yourself like you are your own friend, your own patient, and taking care of those parts, nurturing yourself, I think will be a big requirement this week. Yeah, and that's it. That's all I've got. I think as well with, like I mentioned earlier, the three major arcanas following one after the other like that with, what was it? The world, death, and the world, death, and the magician. With all of those cards falling out one after the other, it's pretty fantastic and speaks to the general, I think, knowing that I believe is as deeply alive within all of us by now, that everything is fine. Hasn't felt fine. It's felt very scary, very out of control. You may have felt deeply vulnerable, lost, foggy, irritable, emotional, but know that everything is truly okay and genuinely always has been unfolding for our greatest good. And yeah, try your best, try with all of your might to never ever let go of that through everything. Thank you for watching. I hope this reading did justice to any weary hearts, regardless of whether or not you're watching this during the eclipse tunnel or at a random point in space. Thank you so, so much. And I will see you in the next live stream.